He treats his mother very poorly. Is the way he is with her indicative of how he would be with me in the future? My boyfriend ignores and neglects his mother a lot. I used to live with them, but I had to move out when it all got too much. My boyfriend is 31 and lives with his mom, who is 71 and has a whole host of medical problems. His mom has just been through cancer treatments. Last night, I was at my home, which is about 2.5 hours away, in Discord with my friends and boyfriend when my boyfriend left abruptly. I knew immediately that it was something to do with his mom. So, I messaged them both, asking if everything was okay. There was no reply, so I rang, and the line was engaged. I knew he was on the phone calling emergency services. I finally got through him, and I could hear his mom crying and shouting for help, and he was saying that an ambulance was on the way. So I asked if he was going in the ambulance, and he said he wasn't because of the dog and that he wouldn't be able to get home. I asked if she would like me to meet her at the hospital. He asked her, and she said yes. So, at 1:30 a.m., I dropped everything, quickly packed a bag, jumped in the car, and went straight to the hospital. I arrived at the hospital, and my boyfriend's mom was glad to see me. I made sure she was comfy, etc., and kept my boyfriend updated. It got to around 5:30 a.m., and he said he wanted to go to sleep. He asked when I would be back. I said I didn't know, as I didn't think it was right to leave her on her own. Because I didn't have a key to their house, he said he would leave the back door and gate open. She insisted that I go home to sleep. So, in the end, I gave up fighting her about it and went home. I got home at my boyfriend's, hopped into bed, and set an alarm for 3 hours. When I woke up, I asked my boyfriend if he wanted to go and see his mom. He struggled and rolled over. I called the hospital to check up on the situation and then messaged to say I'd be coming soon. I asked if she wanted me to bring anything. She said no. I asked my boyfriend once more if he wanted to come with me, and he said he was tired. Perplexed, I said, yes, so am I, and she's your mother. He rolled over once more. My boyfriend also has a sister and a brother. His sister offered to go to the hospital, but their mom said not to bother, so they didn't. Maybe I'm weird, but I would have made the drive regardless. They happen to live a lot closer than I do, so it shouldn't have been a problem. So I went to the hospital, and she was being discharged. We all came back home and went to bed to get some rest. Later on, my boyfriend went on Discord and was being too loud. So, his mom asks me to tell him to be quiet. He says okay, but then continues to make a lot of noise. His mom comes upstairs and asks him to simmer it down. She came to me and asked if I would go and lay with her as she felt anxious, which I did. All the while, my boyfriend is gaming and shouting on Discord, keeping me and his mom awake. Luckily, after some time, his mom fell asleep. It seems as though my boyfriend is experiencing caregiver fatigue or whatever, which I find highly unlikely since he has done absolutely nothing for her. He keeps her up every night, gaming and screaming down his headset. He expects her or me to do everything for him, like cleaning, washing his clothes, etc. When his mom started her battle with cancer, I quit my full-time job to take her to all her appointments. I worked on my part-time job while she was having chemo, gave her her daily injection, and made a plan with a checklist so she could keep track of the medication she needed to take at particular times of the day. There were only a couple of appointments I didn't take her to when I couldn't get the time off work, but my boyfriend used my car and took her. I'm the one with caregiver fatigue, which is why I moved out. I was sick of being expected to do everything for him and his mom while he and his siblings haven't helped out at all. Unfortunately, I've had a couple of medical problems myself. I took a prescribed medication for the first time, and I overdosed. Since our bedroom also served as his office, where he played with his headset on and everything, my dog had to bark at him for ages until he turned around and found me lifeless. Only then did he call for an ambulance. Of course, he stayed home and didn't come with me. Recently, I also had a car accident. In shock, I texted him to let him know what had happened. Luckily, my best friend was nearby and sorted me out. My boyfriend only called me after an hour or so. The first thing he said wasn't "Are you okay?" It was "What happened?" and then he started to have a go at me. The same thing happened when my dog got hurt and had a hole in her face that needed stitches. He did nothing but blame me. We've been together for 4.5 years. We used to rent a house together for 2 years, but I got fed up with paying all the bills during COVID while I worked my butt off. He was home playing video games and wouldn't even do any housework, so I also had to do that after a 13-hour shift. I worked as a caregiver. We gave up our lease, and he moved back with his mom. I moved in with him some time later. Things became too overwhelming, so I moved out again this year. I broke up with him, and he didn't talk to me for a month and then asked for another chance. So, here we are at this crossroads, and I'm wondering if this relationship is worth another try.